Now, before we get into the video, I want to let you guys know about Pickswise.com. Pickswise is the home of sports picks and predictions. You can find the latest college basketball picks every game for every day, and they will give you a free pick for every single March Madness game once the tournament starts, and they'll be able to load in their picks right here. They will give you reasoning, sound reasoning from expert handicappers, from expert analysts. They feature the very best of the college basketball handicappers, and especially as it gets closer to March Madness, be sure to check them out and be sure to bet better with Pickswise. Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the February 26th edition of the Bracketology update. This will be the last Bracketology of February, and the next one that I bring to you will be the start of March Madness, and man, I am so freaking excited for it. I mean, man, I am just so excited for college basketball, so excited for all the frenzy and the fervor and whatever verbs and adjectives, I don't even know what. I'm not an English major out of college, but man, I am so freaking excited for it, especially after watching last night's main two ESPN games. There was Michigan versus Iowa, which was a fantastic game up until like the 10 or 15 minute mark left in the second half, and then Michigan just absolutely took over from there. And then Ohio State versus Michigan State. I thought that it was going to be a bad thing that Illinois lost to Michigan State, which I think the main reason Illinois lost to Michigan State earlier in the week was because of missed free throws. Illinois missed like 17 free throws, which isn't going to happen every time. But I was like, man, all those Ohio State fans out there are going to be making fun of me for liking Illinois more than Ohio State. And Ohio State went and lost to Michigan State too. So now we're back on even footing, me being an Illinois believer, and then all you Ohio State fans out there who let me know whenever I don't pick the Ohio State Buckeyes to move on to the Final Four. But before we kind of take a look here at the bubble, I want to let you guys know about that 6,000 subscriber giveaway. If we hit 6,000 subscribers by March 14th, which is Selection Sunday, I will be giving away either a $25 gift card of your choosing or a free t-shirt from Fanatics of your favorite college basketball team. So how you enter? Just subscribe to the channel, put your post notifications on, and take a screenshot of that, send it to me as a DM at AlexPrice24 on Instagram, and you're going to be entered. All you have to do is just look at the description. I go a little bit more in depth on how to enter that in the description below. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you enter the giveaway. We'll be giving away all that stuff. I mean, hey, if we hit 6,000 subscribers here in the next couple of days, maybe I might do another one for 7,000. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look back here at the bubble. Last four byes are Louisville, VCU, Boise State, and Seton Hall. Last four in are Indiana, UConn, Xavier, and Colorado State. First four out are Minnesota. Minnesota is now out of the tournament. They made it up to like a 6 seed at one point, but they have just not looked good at all recently. I mean, I think at the beginning of February, I had them making a run to the Final Four, but I mean, that was whenever they were actually winning games. They lost at home to Northwestern last night, and Northwestern's not even close to the tournament picture right now. Then we got Stanford, Richmond, and Michigan State, as I mentioned earlier. Just beat Indiana on the road. Just beat Illinois, the number 5 team in the nation. Just beat Ohio State, the number 4 team in the nation. They're still on the outside looking in just because they did not have a good start to the season at all. But man, they are turning it on at the right time. Similar situation over there with Duke, who now is the first team in the next 4 out. Then Georgia Tech was putting together a pretty good tournament profile after I think they destroyed, it was either Florida State or Virginia Tech. I think it was Virginia Tech earlier in the week. Then Ole Miss got another huge victory. I can't remember. I think it was over Missouri earlier this week as well. I can't remember everything. But then Utah State is the last team on the bubble. So before I get into my predictions, I want to let you guys know that we are going to pick our food item now. Usually I wait until like the middle of the bracketology or the middle or at the very end. But we're going to go ahead and switch it up here. We are going to go with, you know what we're going to do? We'll switch it up. We'll go with a little bit of a sweet item. We are going to go with brownies. I love brownies. I love them so much. Especially love the corner pieces to where like the inside of the inner part of the brownie is so soft, so gooey, and then the outside you got that crust, not too burnt, but enough to where you can kind of bite into it and you got to kind of work through it, man. I love those corner pieces. Love brownies in general. If you're watching in this video, I know this is a weird bracketology, but if you're watching this video at this point in time, it's probably like 5 minutes into the video or something like that. Comment brownies below. But now we got to go ahead and get into our predictions for the tournament. If it were to start today, I think I'll be doing, or I'll show you guys how to pull up this bracket. whenever, or like every other video or whatever, especially starting next week whenever I'm doing bracketologies almost every single day. But at first, we're obviously going to have Gonzaga here moving on past NC-A&T and South Dakota. Then Cade Cunningham can lead Oklahoma State to a victory in the first round. But Maryland, they've been looking pretty good. They were in the next four out for a while. Then they've just steadily been rising up the bracket. Now they seem almost as a lock as a 9 seed. So props to them, props to the Terrapins. Then we're going to have USC and Evan Mobley here moving on past the winner of Xavier and Colorado State, which I think would be Colorado State. And then I'm going to go with an upset pick right here. Now, I do know that Belmont lost last night to Eastern Kentucky, which, I mean, shout out to Eastern Kentucky right there. I have a lot of friends who actually go there. As you guys know, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and so I have a lot of friends who go to Eastern Kentucky, so congratulations to the Colonels out there for beating Belmont last night. But I believe in Belmont as an at-large team. I mean, it's only their second loss of the entire year, and Virginia has not been looking good either. Virginia lost to NC State. I think it was on the road. It might have been at home. I don't remember. But either way, Virginia is now on a 3-game losing streak. They are not looking too hot either. Why not go with another upset pick right there in a 13/4? Then we'll go with Clemson moving on past St. Bonaventure. Iowa moving on past Eastern Washington. Louisville, I think, can spring the 10/7 upset over Florida. And then West Virginia will beat Grand Canyon. Then we'll have Gonzaga here moving on to the Sweet 16 over Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. USC and Evan Mobley, I do think, would beat Belmont there and kind of end their little hope for a Cinderella run. Then we'll have Iowa and Luka Garza moving on past Clemson, and then West Virginia moving on past Louisville. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, we have Gonzaga moving on past USC, along with West Virginia. I am going to go with West Virginia over Iowa. I know a lot of you West Virginia fans have been letting me know that I don't put you far enough into the bracket, but West Virginia has been looking pretty good recently, and Iowa, if Luka Garza can't get going, they struggle, especially on the defensive end. So why not just go ahead and go with West Virginia here, moving on to the Elite Eight, but then they will fall to the monster that is Gonzaga here in the Final Four. Gonzaga is going to move on out of Region 1. So then Region 2, we're going to have Baylor moving on against whoever wins that playing game. It doesn't matter. Then I'm going to go with Loyola Chicago pulling off the 9/8. You guys know how much I love Rutgers, but I just don't think Rutgers can handle the team overall play of Loyola Chicago. Rutgers has been a little bit too inconsistent. I know I'm a little bit weird by picking Rutgers to lose to Loyola Chicago here in the first round, but a couple of bracketologies ago, I had them going to the Final Four and like beating Alabama and stuff, but it's just the way. It's all about the matchups for me. Then we're going to go with Wisconsin here, moving on past Toledo. Creighton moving on past UC Santa Barbara. Virginia Tech, I think, can beat Drake. Drake was one of my favorite at-large teams, but they've been struggling with injuries. Their starting point guard just went down for, I think it was the season, so that's not looking good for them. Houston will be able to beat Liberty. Then I'm going to go with BYU over VCU, and then Illinois over Siena. Then Baylor is going to beat Loyola Chicago. Then I'm also going to go with Creighton moving on past Wisconsin. Virginia Tech here is going to spring the 6/3 upset over Houston, and then Illinois will beat BYU, which sets up an Elite Eight. I'm just going to go ahead and pick it right here. It's going to be Baylor versus Illinois. Not too much to talk about there, but I love this matchup here between Illinois and Baylor. These two teams played earlier in the year. Baylor won by like 13 or something like that, but Illinois had a stretch to where they didn't score. I think with a full-strength Illinois team and with everybody being back, there's no way they go like 5 minutes in a single stretch without scoring again. I think it would be a fantastic matchup here, but I do think they would lose to Baylor. I think Illinois could beat anybody in the nation, but they just can't beat. They have a really good point guard in Naoto Sumu. They have a really good center in Kofi Coburn, but that the 2 through 4 positions, the shooting guard, small forward, power forward, they leave a lot to be desired compared to Baylor's. So then we're going to have Baylor moving on to the Final Four out of that region. Then over here in Region 3, we have Michigan here moving on past Cleveland State. LSU, I think, can beat UCLA. Then I'm going to go with an upset pick here and go with Western Kentucky over Tennessee. I love Western Kentucky this year. They beat Alabama earlier in the year and have a first-round projected pick in Charles Bassey. And Tennessee, 5-5 in their last 10 games. They are not too hot right now. Why not go with Western Kentucky? Then we'll have Texas moving on past Colgate. Texas Tech as a 6 seed. I love them as a 6 seed. That's great value. Moving on past the winner of Indiana and UConn, which will probably be UConn at this point, especially if James Boatnight's back. And then we'll have Florida State moving on past Furman. Boise State, I think, will spring the 10/7 over Missouri. You guys know my feelings on Missouri. Then Villanova will move on past UMBC. Then Michigan, I think, will be LSU to move to the Sweet 16. Then I'm going to go with an upset pick here, go with a double-digit seed in Western Kentucky. I do know that Texas just beat Kansas. That was a fantastic game, went to overtime. Jalen Wilson kind of screwed Kansas at the end of that game with that. He just lost control on the layup. Felt bad for him, but just the way the ball rolls sometimes. I think Western Kentucky can pull off the 12/4 upset and move on to the Sweet 16. Then Texas Tech, I think, can spring the 6/3 upset over Florida State. I love these two teams here. I think both teams have a really good chance of making the Elite Eight, but I just hate how they're matched up here in the second round. I think Florida State is a fantastic team, but I just believe in Texas Tech more. This is in no way a disrespect to Florida State. Then we're going to have Villanova moving on past Boise State. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, we got Michigan moving on past Western Kentucky, along with Texas Tech as a 6 seed moving on past Villanova. I just believe in Texas Tech. I know they've been struggling as of late. I just believe in them. But then they will fall to the monster that is Michigan. I think it's time to start discussing, it's already time to put Michigan in that top two, or on that top tier, along with Gonzaga and Baylor with the way they've been playing. Then we'll go over here to Region 4 and have Ohio State moving on past Texas State. San Diego State will move on past Oregon. Arkansas looking pretty good. They've won 8 games in a row. Then we'll have, or at least 8 SEC games. I don't remember what happened in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Then Kansas will beat Winthrop. Purdue will beat Seton Hall. Oklahoma's going to move on past Abilene Christian. Colorado, I think, can beat North Carolina, especially after that Marquette loss that North Carolina had. And then Alabama moving on past James Madison. Then Ohio State will move to the Sweet 16 over San Diego State. Kansas, I think, with the extra AR, or Arkansas with the extra AR, will be able to move on past their similar name. I don't know where I'm going with that. I think gosh, I can't do it with these two teams. Arkansas will move on to the Sweet 16 over Kansas. Then we're going to have Oklahoma here moving on past Purdue along with Alabama. Actually, I guess I have too many 6 seeds moving on so far. We already picked 2 6/3 upsets. I guess I'll have Oklahoma moving on though. They did just lose to Kansas State, which was a bad loss. Then Alabama will move on past Colorado. And then Ohio State and Arkansas. I'm going to go with Ohio State. I think whoever wins that matchup right there will move on to the Final Four out of this region. I think Arkansas is a team that's catching fire right now. I think they could continue it on throughout the NCAA tournament. I think that they could make the Final Four and beat Ohio State there. But either way, I do think Ohio State is the better team. They'll probably win the majority of the times. I mean, they should win the majority of the time. And then Alabama, I think, will beat Oklahoma, which sets up Alabama versus Ohio State in the Elite Eight. I am going to go with Ohio State. I know last video I talked about how there's almost never 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four, and I mean in the actual tournament predictions video, I probably won't predict 4 number 1 seeds. I know most likely be Ohio State that doesn't make it, but it's all about the bracket. It's all about how the teams line up, and it's just the way that this bracket made its way into my mind. I believe that Ohio State would run the table in that region, which sets up 4 number 1 seeds here, and all you Ohio State fans can give me some respect now that I'm giving you guys some respect. But then we're going to have Gonzaga win against Ohio State. Then I'm going to go with Michigan. I picked Michigan to beat Baylor on Tuesday's Bracketology, and nothing in that game against Iowa made me think otherwise. I know Baylor did struggle against Iowa State, but I think that was more COVID stuff. They haven't played in 3 weeks. I think Michigan could beat Baylor, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick Michigan here to move on and win the national championship. It may be a bit reactionary, but Hunter Dickinson looked fantastic matched up against Luka Garza. That gave me a ton of confidence when he goes up against, I think it's Drew Timme, something like that. Whoever Gonzaga's big guy is, and I think that Michigan's guard play can keep up with Corey Kispert may be the center, I don't know. I just know the names from Gonzaga, not really positions, but I do know that Jalen Suggs is their point guard. I think Michigan has the guard play to keep up with Gonzaga. I think they could get the job done and win the national championship. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out Pickswise, as I mentioned at the top of the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you enter that 6,000 subscriber giveaway. And I will see you all later.